Hello everyone, this is Dr. Santosh. Today we will be talking about a very important topic, metabolic strategies. So our body is a very unique machinery and very intelligent machinery, ingenious machinery. Our body does not act haphazardly. Our body has some strategies. Through that strategy, our body metabolizes biomolecules. And this strategy is called metabolic strategy. In this first lecture, we will be doing a series of lecture on metabolic strategies. This is the first in the series. And in this series, in this first lecture, we will be talking about context of metabolism. So context means circumstances. Circumstances. So we will talk how strategy changes according to circumstances. When circumstances changes, strategy will change. So we will talk about the context, how according to context metabolic strategies are different in our body. So let's see first context. First context, we will talk the context of fasting and fat context. So in the throughout metabolism, when we do lecture on metabolism, in whole metabolism we will use this context. This is the most appropriate context that we use: ideal fat condition and fasting condition. So we'll take an ideal situation of fat condition and fasting condition, and see the strategies, the metabolic strategy, player of metabolic strategy. I will tell you, player of metabolic strategy is hormones. Hormones are the player of metabolic strategy. Hormones are the player of metabolic strategy. Among this hormone, insulin is the most important hormone. Insulin is the most important hormone of the metabolic strategy. So this insulin, and then other side of the metabolic strategies comes glucagon. So there is always a tug of war between insulin and glucagon. So these are the player. So there will be some other hormones associated with glucagon also, like epinephrine. Epinephrines are there, epinephrine, and then glucocorticoid or cortisol, and there are other hormone, growth hormone also. Growth hormone actually also helps insulin in certain sense, but it is antagonistic hormone in other sense. We will talk about growth hormone also. These are the player of metabolism. So these are the player, these hormone will decide the strategy during metabolism. So this fat condition and fasting, we will take the context of fat and fasting context, and according to this context, metabolism, type of metabolism changes, and we will see how this type of metabolism, which type of metabolism occur during fat condition and what type of metabolism occur during fasting condition. And then after that we will talk about these types of metabolism. We will elaborate the type of metabolism, what are the types of metabolism, and what are the metabolism we are going to talk about in subsequent lectures. So in third part we will be talking about how composition of food change the context, how composition of food influences metabolism, type of metabolism. So this we will see the composition of food, can take the context of composition of food. Here we have taken fat and fasting, here we will take the context of food. So food, what we take, the composition of food changes the metabolism. Now fourth part we will talk about the context of health. How in health condition, what type hormone is high in our body, which is the key player in the health condition, and disease condition, what are the key player in the disease condition. So we will talk about all these context. This is the most important context that we will be talking all about. If we understand this context of fasting and fat context, then we will understand other context as well. We will understand the context how food influences our metabolism, and how disease condition and normal condition, what type of metabolism is there. So let's begin with the topic, with the fasting and fat context. Let's see this. This is the fast fat state. You can see the fat state. Fat state starts after eating. That is why I have written 0 up to 4 hours. Fat state lasts up to 4 hours. After fat, this is fat state. After fat state, there will be fasting state. Fasting state I have taken is fasting is intermediate state. I have not taken that fasting state, rather I have taken prolonged fasting state. So prolonged fasting state starts after 1 day of 1 day of eating. So this prolonged fasting condition lasts for 3 days, 1 to 3 days, and starvation starts after 3 days. So this is how we classify fed fast cycle. So fed condition is up to 4, and from 4 to 1 day is fasting condition. From 1 day to 3 is prolonged fasting, and after 3 days starvation. Now we will classify this context into fed condition and fasting condition. So in fed condition is related to anabolism, and fasting condition catabolism will happen. So in fed condition, in this context of fed condition, anabolism will happen. In context of fasting condition, catabolism will happen. And as I have already told you the player of this context is in hormones, and insulin is the most important. And then during catabolic state, the player of during starvation condition is glucagon is the player during starvation condition. So insulin plays because during fed condition insulin become high. That is why insulin will cause anabolism. What will happen is after we eat, glucose food is digested to glucose, carbohydrate is digested to glucose, and this carbohydrate enter into beta cell of pancreas through GLUT2, glucose transporter 2, and this glucose inside the beta cell of pancreas will release insulin, and this insulin is the key player during fed condition, and this insulin is responsible for anabolism because insulin is an anabolic hormone. Now, how does this insulin control the cellular activity? So, insulin controls the cellular activity through its signaling pathway. So, this is, I have written the signaling pathway in this sense. Insulin actually decreases the level of CAMP, and then this is how insulin will activate one enzyme called protein phosphatase. And after activating this enzyme, this protein phosphatase will cause dephosphorylation of intracellular enzymes. Dephosphorylation of intracellular enzymes. So you can memorize this fact like anabolism means fed condition means anabolism, and fed condition means insulin. Anabolism means fed condition means insulin, means decreased CMP means protein kinase, protein phosphatase, and means dephosphorylation. So you have to memorize this whole context in one place. If you understand the whole context in one place, you will understand the metabolism. Now let's talk about the opposite context. Opposite context is context of prolonged fasting and starvation condition. Prolonged fasting and starvation condition, key player here is glucagon. And glucagon, what happens is when insulin level goes down, then glucagon secretion increases. When insulin is high, what will happen? Insulin will suppress the secretion of glucagon. After insulin level goes down in fasting condition and prolonged fasting condition and adverse starvation condition, what will happen is glucagon level will rise, and because of this high glucagon level, what will happen, the signaling inside cell, inside cell, what will happen is CAMP level will be high, and because of this AMP, high CAMP, protein kinase activity, protein kinase A activity will be high, and protein kinase A is also called CAMP dependent kinase, because when CAMP level increases, this CAMP will increase the activity of this enzyme. Actually, all kinases, what does it do? It phosphorylates its substrate, and this is protein kinase. That is why this enzyme will phosphorylate the protein. Enzymes are protein, so this kinase will phosphorylate enzymes by utilizing ATP, and phosphorylation of enzyme will initiate the catabolic pathways. So this is, you have to memorize this. You can right now memorize like this only. Catabolism means prolonged fasting or starvation, and prolonged fasting and starvation means glucagon, and means decreased CAMP, increased CAMP, and then protein kinase A, and then phosphorylation. So those all things you place one place, and they are equal to each other. Remember that way. If you remember that way, so you will remember during fasting condition what will happen, inside cell phosphorylation will happen, phosphorylation of enzymes, regulatory enzymes, phosphorylation of regulatory enzymes will happen, and this is how regulatory enzymes. And this is how glucagon regulates metabolism. This is how insulin regulates metabolism. In fed condition, insulin released and insulin regulates regulatory enzyme. It dephosphorylates regulatory enzyme and it causes anabolism that way by regulating enzyme. So this is the way our body is regulated during fed condition and fasting condition. So understand, fed condition means anabolism, fasting, prolonged fasting condition means catabolism. Now we have already answered these two questions. When does it happen? So when does anabolism happen? So it happens during fed condition. When does catabolism happens? It happens during prolonged fasting and starvation condition. And what regulates it? What is the key player? So we have already answered. During anabolism, insulin is the player. During catabolism, glucagon is the player. So now let's talk about more characteristic of this anabolism and catabolism. See, I have not written fed state here because we will talk more about anabolism and catabolism here. Fuel during anabolism is glucose, because in fed condition, anabolism means fed condition, our body has enough glucose and all tissue will utilize glucose for energy that time without much exception. So fuel during fed condition is glucose, and during fasting condition fuel is for extra neuronal tissue, fatty acid is the fuel, and for brain glucose is the fuel. Especially during prolonged fasting condition, glucose is the fuel, but during starvation condition brain will also utilize fuel, ketone body, that is synthesized from fatty acid, ketone body. Brain will also utilize ketone body. So you can write fatty acid, glucose and ketone body. I have missed that, just notice ketone body. So these three are the fuel during fasting, prolonged fasting and starvation. This is the fuel of brain during starvation condition. And but RBC is there. RBC will never utilize ketone body or fatty acid because RBC does not have mitochondria or nucleus inside, and that is why RBC will always be dependent on glucose. Therefore, during prolonged fasting condition and starvation condition, fatty acid, glucose will also be fuel for certain tissue, RBC, and during starvation condition, ketone body will be fuel for brain. During prolonged fasting, glucose is there from 1 to 1 week, 1 days to 1 week, glucose will be there, but after 1 week, brain will adapt on ketone body. So this is the fuel. And third characteristic of this anabolism is all anabolic bolism are endergonic process, means anabolism utilize energy, this energy. So energy in the form of ATP, either they will utilize energy in the form of direct currency ATP, or it can utilize check that is present in our body. NADH, FADH2, NADPH, they can utilize this all energy equivalents. And I have also written here bank because ATP, all NADH will be converted into ATP at inner mitochondrial membrane. That is why I have in electron transport chain of inner mitochondrial membrane. That is why I have coded this as bank. I have given the analogy of bank so that it will help you later when you study metabolism. So this is currency and this is energy equivalent like check, and it will be converted into ATP through electron transport chain. So this is all about how fed state is related to anabolism and fasting state is related to catabolism, and key player in fed state is insulin and key player during fasting condition is glucagon. Now let's classify the metabolism, and let's talk about the individual metabolic pathways that fall under during fed condition and fasting condition, and that fall under anabolism and catabolism. So this is the type of metabolic pathways we will talk about, and that occur during fed condition and fasting. As I have already told you, anabolism means during fed condition, well fed condition, what will happen? Anabolism will happen. During fasting condition, fasting, when I talk about fasting, just understand prolonged fasting, and also understand this starvation, also include starvation with it also. So well fed condition and fasting condition, starvation condition. So catabolism happens during fasting condition, and then anabolism happens during fed condition. So what is catabolism? As I have already told you, catabolism are the process of breaking down of the compound and it will release energy. The Greek meaning of catabolism, you can see kata means up, and boolean means, sorry, this is not up, kata means down, down throw. You can take an analogy of water coming from high level to low level, as you or daily, as you use water daily from your tap. So tap, the water coming from tank that is present on a certain height, so water comes in your tap passively, that is down coming of water. It is smooth process, so it will not require energy, rather catabolism will release energy. These are the process, breaking down of reaction. So these are the catabolism. And then anabolism is the process that utilize energy. Ana means up and bolin means throw. So this anabolism is joining the different compound together, and joining different compound together will require energy. Breaking this compound will release energy. So this is the basic difference of energy release and energy utilization. Now we can see, based on biomolecules, we can classify the metabolism based on carbohydrate metabolism, lipid metabolism, protein metabolism, and nucleic acid metabolism, like that. And this carbohydrate metabolism can also be anabolism and catabolism. And let's tell me one thing, all anabolic pathway occurs during fed condition except gluconeogenesis. So gluconeogenesis occur during fasting condition, or catabolism occur during fasting condition except glycolysis. Glycolysis occurs at fed condition. Only catabolism, because during fed condition also will require energy, and anabolism, catabolism provide energy. So glycolysis is the catabolism that happens during fed condition, and gluconeogenesis is anabolism that happens during fasting condition. Now let's talk about the anabolic processes. So these are the anabolism of carbohydrate. Gluconeogenesis is anabolism of carbohydrate, and glycogen synthesis that happens during fed condition is glycogen synthesis that happens during fed condition is anabolism during fed condition of carbohydrate. So glycogen, what will happen? Glucose will polymerize to form glycogen. Now bond is formed, and polymerization will require energy. Here lipid synthesis. So fatty acid synthesis. Fatty acid is synthesized from acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A will polymerize. If many acetyl coenzyme A will lie, remember this is acetyl coenzyme A, lie together, and then bond formation will happen, and this will form a long chain fatty acid, and this require high amount of energy. As I have already told you, anabolism require energy. Lipogenesis, after formation of fatty acid, what will happen? Fatty acid will assemble on glycerol. This fatty acid assemble on glycerol. This is glycerol, 3 hydroxy group containing 3 carbon compound, glycerol, and then fatty acid, lipogenesis. And cholesterol synthesis also require energy, and from acetyl coenzyme A, cholesterol molecule will be formed like this. So cholesterol molecule formed from acetyl coenzyme A through polymerization, and that require energy. So this is cholesterol. Protein synthesis, as you already know, protein synthesis happens from amino acid, and amino acid will also polymerize to form protein, and this also require energy. So these all processes are upward process, that is why upthrow. Upthrow means it requires energy for formation. So higher molecule is formed from smaller molecule. So complex molecule are formed from smaller molecule. This is anabolism. Nucleotide synthesis is also anabolism. Nucleotide pyrimidine and purine synthesis occurs through anabolism, and RNA synthesis also occurs through anabolism. Different nucleotide will polymerize. Nucleotide will polymerize like this. So polymerization of this nucleotide require energy. So these all are energy requiring process, and these all processes happen during fed condition. Anabolism happen during fed condition except gluconeogenesis that happens during fasting condition, and it happens during fasting condition. Now let's talk about catabolism. So catabolism is in carbohydrate catabolism. We will talk about the catabolism of carbohydrate as glycogen breakdown. So that the glycogen formed here will be broken down into glucose. This is called glycogenolysis. And then in lipid metabolism, this lipid formed here are broken down. During the lipid that is formed during fed condition will be broken down into triglyceride and then fatty acid during fasting condition. This is called catabolism of lipid, that is lipolysis. And then this fatty acid will undergo beta oxidation and will form acetyl coenzyme A again. And from this acetyl coenzyme A, it will undergo Krebs cycle to generate ATP. And from this beta oxidation, this conversion of this fatty acid into acetyl coenzyme A is called beta oxidation. And from this beta oxidation, energy is liberated. So this whole process, catabolism, if you see, the catabolism is a process where energy is released. And proteolysis will, during fasting condition, what happens is this whole protein will be broken down into amino acid. This amino acid will go under catabolism to feed gluconeogenesis. So catabolism of amino acid is linked with gluconeogenesis. Therefore, this gluconeogenesis occurs during fasting condition. It is actually, this gluconeogenesis is fed by catabolism of protein. And this is proteolysis. And then catabolism of amino acid. And catabolism of amino acid is also linked with urea cycle. Urea cycle is high during fasting condition. And nucleic acid catabolism, especially RNA breakdown, will increases during fasting condition. Nucleotide breakdown will also happen during fasting condition. So in a simple word, this anabolism is linked with well-fed condition. In well-fed condition, polymerization or higher molecule is synthesized because of throw. So higher molecule is synthesized by utilizing energy, whereas in catabolism, the big molecule will break into smaller molecules. So understanding of this division of metabolism and context in which such metabolism happens will give us understanding of metabolism. So how our body changes strategy according to condition of fed state or fasting state. Now let's talk about the composition, how composition of food changes the strategy. So composition of food, how changes? As I have told you, the key player in metabolism is insulin. So some food that increases insulin surge very high will have different type of metabolism, and some food that has less insulin surge will have different type of metabolism, as a metabolism similar to catabolism. So let's see this carbohydrate. Let's talk about carbohydrate. After we take carbohydrate, so glucose will have a high surge of insulin. Glucose will cause high level of release of insulin from beta cell of pancreas. Therefore, this condition will mimic very high level of anabolism. We can say this is a condition where extreme fat condition. We can compare this condition as extreme fat condition. If you take only glucose in your diet, so the glucose surge, insulin surge will be in blood will be high, insulin concentration in blood will be high, insulin secretion in blood will be high, and this simulate extreme fat condition. Now let's talk about this proteins. When we take protein diet, when our diet is rich in protein, then there will be significant decrease in insulin surge. So this type of metabolism is intermediate between fasting and fed condition, a sort of fasting type of condition in between fed and prolonged fasting condition. So protein metabolism, when we take protein in high amount, so metabolism will be different because insulin surge will be relatively very significantly lower than that in carbohydrate intake. Now when we take fat, the insulin surge will be very low. So in such condition, what will happen? This metabolism, if we take fat only in diet, the metabolism will be similar to catabolism. So catabolism will be there in our body. Only carbohydrate has highest anabolism promoting capacity. Protein has intermediate, and then fat has lowest anabolism promoting capacity. Now we have seen the composition of food. So this composition of food affect our metabolism. Now let's talk about what actually we require for general health, which type of context we require for our normal health. So what is the player of normal health? We will talk about the normal health and what happens in disease. So this picture, though it seems complicated, I will make it simple. So this is this picture showing normal condition. If you can see the dotted box, so this is the part that is showing normal health condition. In normal health condition, the key player is growth hormone. So growth hormone plays very vital role in normal health and condition. And remember that growth hormone is antagonist to insulin in certain aspect and agonist with insulin in certain aspect. What happens is growth hormone function of growth hormone is mixed. Growth hormone causes catabolism of lipolysis. It will cause lipolysis, so catabolism of lipid. So it will cause catabolism of growth hormone cause catabolism of lipid, but it causes anabolism for protein. So growth hormone is very important for protein synthesis. Ultimately, you can say this growth hormone is very desirable hormone for us. This growth hormone actually make us thin, lean. Our muscle mass in body, it will cause increase in muscle mass, but at the same time decrease in fat in our body, because this is mixed hormone. It has anabolic effect on protein and catabolic effect on lipid. And one fact is that growth hormone cannot act alone. It requires insulin. Without insulin, growth hormone cannot act it alone. Why? Because during during fate condition, after fate condition, during this region, we will talk about the period, this context, especially during initial stage of fasting condition. What will happen? Growth, this insulin level is appropriate for growth hormone to act. What will happen? This growth hormone and insulin, both hormone are required for intracellular absorption of amino acid. So intracellular movement of amino acid from blood to inside cell require combination of both hormone, and that is why this both hormone is required for appropriate environment of protein synthesis. So this is the desirable stage where our body has enough protein synthesis, because our body depend on protein only. Enzymes are protein, other cell membrane require protein. So we have structural protein that hold our body, bone has protein, everywhere protein is there. So we speak because of protein, we see because of protein, we walk because of protein. So protein synthesis is very important for our body. Our body tries hard to save protein, and this is growth hormone is very important for preserving protein and in stimulating protein synthesis. That is why you can see the growth hormone is an insulin will. And this context can be understood. When there is no insulin, there will not be protein synthesis. You take the example of type 1 diabetes. So what will happen? Type 1 diabetes, there is no insulin because of reduced insulin synthesis, and at that time growth hormone becomes helpless. It cannot cause protein synthesis. There will be protein breakdown. So growth hormone and insulin, they have differences, but they are friends at protein synthesis. So which type of state is favorable for protein synthesis? Protein synthesis, uh, extreme fasting, extreme fat condition is not that favorable for protein synthesis. The protein synthesis condition after actually 3 hours, after 3 hours, based on quality of food. If you take protein rich diet, then the condition can be fat condition. Protein synthesis can happen during fat condition also. But you have taken a high carbohydrate and mixed protein diet, then the when in body the influence of carbohydrate reduce, and then what will happen is insulin surge decreases at around fasting condition. After 2 to 3 hours, then only what will happen is this growth hormone start rising, and then protein synthesis, then the condition in our body becomes favorable for protein synthesis. This is the context of fasting fat context. During fasting condition and at the end of this fat condition, our body, and in the beginning of fasting condition, at the end of fat condition, is our body is very favorable for protein synthesis. Last hour of fat condition and about 8 to 10 hours of fasting condition. That is why we will see that during sleep condition, during sleep condition, we are recommended to take some protein diet before sleeping. What happens is this protein diet will actually help us rejuvenate. Protein diet will actually help us repair the tissue through protein synthesis, and therefore this growth hormone is also called rejuvenating hormone. And if you maintain growth hormone level in your body, you will look young. Your aging will be slower. So this growth hormone is very important hormone that is required for health. And how do we increase growth hormone? Through diet and other lifestyle changes. You can see we can adjust our life diet. This balanced diet will promote growth hormone in our body. And in addition to balanced diet having enough protein, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, and essential fatty acid rich diet, and then proper rest, good rest, mm, distressing activity like meditation and other things, and then exercise. These all things they increases the level of growth hormone. But at the extremity, if you can see, extreme fasting condition, extreme fasting condition and extreme fat condition. So when a person have only carbohydrate in diet, very less protein, in that condition also the person is in metabolic stress. When person does not eat anything, that is also condition of metabolic stress. The condition of balance condition is condition of this mixed fasting and fat condition. So we also require fasting condition. That is where role of calorie restriction comes. So calorie restriction is proven. Calorie restriction is a proven, scientifically proven method of increasing longevity. Why? Because growth hormone is high. When you restrict your carbohydrate intake, your growth hormone in your body will be high, and that will protect your body from aging. This is the whole funda of calorie restriction. And if you take too much carbohydrate, what will happen is your body will have metabolic stress, and you will slowly gain fat, because insulin converts glucose into acetyl coenzyme, and then acetyl coenzyme will ultimately convert into fatty acid and fat. So insulin makes you fat here. So if you insulin level in your body is, if you are in hyperinsulinemic condition, and you are probably going for obesity, and cause for obesity is hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia is the cause for obesity. So this extreme condition is high insulin condition. This is high insulin condition. This extreme condition is high glucagon condition. So both conditions are not desirable. We don't require both conditions. We require the intermediate condition. We require a condition of relatively fasting and then fat condition. We need a good balanced diet, and then we don't have to eat repeatedly. That is required for normal health. So in metabolic stress, what will happen? Obesity will happen when we eat very. This is also a form of malnutrition, and then this is because of imbalanced diet, lack of physical activity, emotional stress. This all will contribute to obesity and metabolic disturbances. Extreme condition also, when you don't take food, when you don't get food, this is also metabolic stress. This is called nutritional state. In for example, we can take example of malnutrition, protein energy, you can take protein energy malnutrition, the condition of protein energy nutrition, marasmus and Kwashiorkor. Marasmus. So in marasmus, what will have extreme condition of catabolic condition will be happen. This condition is called nutritional stress condition. In such condition, there will be catabolism of everything. So whole thing catabolism. This is also a undesirable stage. The glucagon level becomes very high in our body, and this is trauma. This type of condition also happens during trauma. Some accident, if somebody meets with accident, then this type of condition, because lots of damage happens inside the tissue, and that damage repair requires lots of catabolism. And burn because it is also a form of trauma. So burn, all skin are burned, and in that condition also body is also constant catabolic condition. In all such conditions, stress will increases the glucocorticoid. So the friend of glucagon is glucocorticoid plus epinephrine. So epinephrine will go with this glucagon. Glucocorticoid will go with glucagon. With insulin, no any hormone come with insulin. Insulin stand alone. Insulin is very dominating. If its level is high, it will not allow other hormone to rise. So insulin, that is why I have taken insulin is the most important hormone you need to understand metabolism. And this growth hormone take intermediate position, very neutral position. It has for with insulin also for protein synthesis, but it is against some bad thing by it is against the accumulating fat here, and it is in favor of losing fat. So that is why growth hormone is very important hormone to make us healthy, to have a lean body weight. And this diabetes mellitus, actually diabetes mellitus, what will happen is insulin is defective, and then in such condition also diabetes mellitus, glucagon, actually activity of glucagon is high, and weight loss, because of this weight loss happens in diabetes mellitus. Cause of weight loss in diabetes mellitus because is insulin is not there, so insulin is not effective, glucagon is more effective, that is why weight loss. And in fever condition and fever and malignancy and other disease condition, you will see such catabolic, extreme catabolic stage. So these are the stage, the nutritional stage in diseases. In diseases there are extreme condition, either the patient are in negative nitrogen balance, or they are all, the patient are in negative nitrogen balance. Patient will have either nutritional stress, lack of nutrition, or overnutrition, that both are not good for normal health. And what is desirable is intermediate position of this, where growth hormone will be high. As we know, growth hormone is high in condition of hypoglycemia. So this is the favorable time of protein synthesis. With this, I will like to conclude my lecture. So in this lecture, we get conclusion as insulin plays a central role in metabolism. That's we have already understood. Insulin links fed state with anabolism, and glucagon links fasting state with catabolism. Fasting state with, sorry, catabolism. And with glucagon, all other hormones, catabolic hormones fall, like epinephrine or adrenaline, then glucocorticoid, but insulin stands alone. Now with third point we understand is insulin and glucagon regulate intracellular metabolic pathway through, insulin regulates through dephosphorylation and glucagon regulates through phosphorylation of regulatory enzymes. That is how this insulin and glucagon regulates metabolic pathway. Now fourth point we understand, we conclude from this lecture is growth hormone and basal level of insulin both are necessary for protein synthesis, protein anabolism and good. In type 1 diabetes, growth hormone, if insulin basal level is not there, growth hormone is not able to protect protein also. So this is insulin basal level of insulin is required for protein synthesis. So insulin is both friends and foe. If you, it is your choice how much insulin you want. If you increase high insulin in your blood, it will become your enemy. But if insulin is level is in a controlled way, so you are healthy, it is good for your health. Now extreme condition of hormone balance produce metabolic stress and disease, that we have seen. So this we have already done this 5 points. So these are the conclusion of this chapter. With this I would like to end this lecture. Thank you for watching video.